Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're watching Iqraa. Welcome to another episode. Umair, Hisham, welcome again. And we're continuing with this second episode of the amazing topic that we started. And it's an excellent discussion. I like the way it's going. And it's the issue of homosexuality. And we've talked about, what it means, and that it's affecting the Muslim Ummah today, subhanAllah. And I just wanted to continue where we left off, and we were talking about the nature versus nurture debate. And just to review a little bit, we said basically that someone cannot really be born that way. Yeah. They become. Now, let's look a little bit about how media portrays homosexuality and what effect does that have on people, on boys, girls, specifically Muslim boys, Muslim girls, youth.
For example, in the movies and books, like everywhere, there's at least one gay person in a movie, so everyone thinks it's normal. Like it's something you choose. It's not something like people will like treat you bad for, bully you for. So people will think, you know what, this is so normal. I see it everywhere. Why shouldn't I do it? So the media is like affecting us. They should at least say that this isn't right, but they don't say that. They make it normal. They just leave it like that, and everyone gets affected, and they say, "This is normal. I always see it everywhere. Why don't I just start doing it?" And then it happens like that.
Okay, and you said very interesting that in most of the movies there's some kind of person or someone who is,
or at least some kind of thing that is homosexual, like maybe a man not wearing clothes properly or something like that.
Someone acting as one or something like that. Even in cartoons.
Yeah, in cartoons.
If you notice that there's sometimes someone who's acting like very girlish or very, Christian. I'll give you a few examples, when not too long ago, but when I was in high school, for example, there was a series for children that was called the Teletubbies. Has anyone ever heard about this? You guys know
Teletubbies.
Right, and there's a huge controversy about the purple Teletubby. He's wearing a purse and acting very feminine and this and that. And it's actually Christian groups who had a very big issue with this. And why are people putting, okay, fine, you believe what you believe, and we're talking about freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and speaking of freedom of speech, even in this episode, we're exercising freedom of speech, right? We're talking, we're not disagreeing, we're disagreeing with people on certain issues, and people might disagree with us, but we're expressing our opinions on this and just discussing in general. But the issue of why are people trying to instill this kind of thinking or trying to, put these things forth towards children? And Christian groups in Canada, United States, were really, really hitting, the media on this aspect. Like, why would you want to put a gay, or gay looking or gay acting type of, puppet or whatever for kids? Like, why? And why do you think that people would try to target young people and
because young people get affected more quicker than because they're small, obviously.
Are people trying to make people gay?
Maybe.
Is that what they're trying to do? What do you think?
We don't know that maybe there's a hidden agenda behind it. Maybe there isn't. But I mean, it's not just media. I was reading a novel a few months ago, it was an award-winning Grammy Award, whatever award novel. And in the middle of the novel, a boy says, "I don't know if I'm gay. Maybe I'm gay. Maybe I'm not. I'm thinking about it. I don't know about my life." I mean, how is that an option to you, if that you're gay or not? So,
but even more, why would they put that in the book?
Exposing it to little kids. Like, this was a few months ago, and I was 13 years old at that time. And this book was read by my cousin who was 10, 9. And if these kids are exposed to these things,
Now, do you think that people, again, let me ask you, do you think people are trying to make other gay?
Maybe it depends. Maybe the person that makes the novel is gay or supports gays.
Something.
Maybe they're trying to change the view of gay people.
I think, I really agree with what Hisham is saying. I think the view that, how do people look at gay people? This is what people are trying to change through the media. This is my opinion.
Trying to make us feel more empathy for them and feel like it's normal.
Feel sorry for them.
When I was in Teachers College, actually, one of the books that, was presented to us was, it's called I Have Two Blue Dads. And it's this child writing that I have two blue dads, and people say, how can you have two blue dads? Yes, I have two blue dads, like two blue fathers. It was, basically you have two dads. And people read it, and it's kind of like a funny story, and you start thinking like, oh man, it's so cute, this child is, people are kind of saying things about him, but he's saying he's so proud that he has 2 fathers, He's like, yeah, I have double the fun. I can throw a baseball, to both of them. You know what I mean? And you read it, and you kind of can't help yourself feeling, that somehow drawn toward it. Man, poor guy, look at him, he's got 2 dads, and people are making fun of him. It's so bad, why are they making fun of it? But basically, it's promoting homosexuality. And as you said, they might not be necessarily trying to make people homosexuals, but they're trying to change the view as what homosexuality is. Now, you guys are a bit young, but going back, if I remember, a few years, 15, maybe 20 years, when I was growing up, going to let's say kindergarten or even grade 1, grade 2, we knew what these things are, like people, but they were considered by society as something where it was as something bad, right? Like it was it was not legal in countries, it was not legal in the United States, it was not legal in anywhere, right? So how come in such a short time the public opinion on this issue changes? What do you guys think?
Because of the media, they change.
Okay, as we said, media.
Media, books, how everyone depicts in these books. They depict it like, if, for example, if you see many American-made movies from American directors, it's their homeland. So in the movies, they always, for example, war movies, America, it's always when America wins these wars that America's the hero,
okay, so it's
which is true. I mean, it's their homeland, they have the right to promote America. Some movies like that, they try to promote the gay people, to say, gay people are the hero, this guy, feel bad for him, everyone's making fun of him, he was born with this disease, and it's not, maybe it's a hidden agenda, maybe it isn't, but they're right now they depict these guys in this movie.
Okay.
They're trying to
now
change the view.
Let me ask you, let's go back. We said over 15, 20 years, the whole public opinion on this topic has changed. But how come can something that's wrong be considered right just by the passing of time? How come?
Maybe people, they like make it seem like a normal thing. They keep on putting it on shows, books, everything. They put it everywhere.
Yeah, repetition. If you repeat it everywhere, it's obviously they can make black seem as white and white seem as black.
Okay, but give me an example. What's something that's wrong today?
Murdering, killing.
Okay. That's something lower. Stealing.
Yes.
Stealing. Okay.
So stealing something is wrong, right?
Yeah.
By what? By public standards, by general consensus, right? Okay.
Most people.
Now keep in mind that 15 years ago or 20 years ago, by general consensus or public opinion, homosexuality is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Now, can we say, let's say, like if tomorrow or a year from now or 5 years from now, people start, human rights groups supposedly say that, well, we feel like stealing and we should legalize stealing and stealing should be, and movies start being made about, stealing being okay. I mean, does this make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
It won't make sense at start, but then later.
But it's wrong now, and maybe later it can be right,
It can be right, yeah.
So, but would people agree to stealing being right?
No.
No. So why would the public opinion of such a thing as homosexuality, something was considered a sexual perversion or an abnormality from that point of view, right? That this is not normal. I mean, this is not what a normal human being, does. How can it be considered correct? How can this good become bad within 10, 15 years, 20 years?
Because most of them, like the people, they keep making, maybe they make riots, they keep on...
This is a very good point.
They make riots,
Public
they
protests.
keep on protesting, shouting, screaming, smashing things, and the public has no choice except to just let them. So
actually, the human rights, there's a history behind the gay human rights movement, right? Specifically in the United States and other countries. But as you said, people just rising up, uniting and saying that we want our rights. Yes, we are this, but we want our rights. But again, I want the youth, the Muslim youth, to think about this specifically. What if a bunch of people gather together today and decide that, we want to legalize theft? Let's get together, start rioting, start saying, human rights.
They could easily depict it in movies as, I'm poor, I don't have any money, that's why I'm stealing. Then people will start having empathy towards them. That there's a reason behind this. I mean, there was a news report from England that a man broke into another store and he started stealing, but the shopkeeper pulled out a shotgun.
Okay.
Now this man suddenly started saying, I'm sick, I'm poor, I don't have money. The moment the man put down the shotgun, he shot him. The shopkeeper eventually got shot, and then the stuff got stolen and stuff. So this is the thing: when you start planting these seeds of different opinions in people's hearts, that you should feel sympathy towards them, the public opinion will definitely change. And when you emphasize it, books, protests, news, everywhere you emphasize it, it's everywhere you see. There's some media, some kind of
repetition
again and again. It's going to
over time. It slowly changes.
They've already made movies and even games about stealing. Grand Theft Auto. Think of the name.
That's a really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. The meaning means stealing a car. When a car's being stolen, the command is Grand Theft Auto. It means there's a car.
And you make
stolen.
more points. The more.
The whole game is based. You're a man. You try to be a gangster. You fight your way to steal cars. You punch.
But this is not. This is something that society supposedly looks down upon. It's not allowed, right?
Yeah.
So how come these things?
They allow the games of it and stuff.
What if in 10 years, like auto theft will be like a sport, like our national sport? Is who can steal more cars? Who can punch more people in the face?
Yeah, they'll go like, oh, we want to have some sports to do in the street, just punch some people.
Or from what I know, also in the game, there's prostitution that happens.
Exactly.
You go in a car with some, from what I remember back in. When my brother used to play this game, and even I played this game, and I was shocked to see some of the things. You have to shoot people, beat people up, and all these things. And it's portrayed as, it's like something cool. Hey, you can get points. You're scoring more points. You're getting prizes.
Yeah, and
right?
what about now all these famous first-person shooter games? The line that's come out. Everyone's playing shooting games, and it's just normal. You just kill him, get more points, and
so that's something that's considered abnormal or no becomes something yes, right? And this is what we're basically talking, even in this issue of homosexuality, as we said, and it's a big issue that's affecting the Muslim youth. As you said, you had friends and people, and this is your opinion. You didn't really like it, and you felt and you experienced it. Even as I said, in my experience. Now, one of the things that I identified, and I thought about it a lot, is sometimes people don't question for example two guys being together or two girls being together or so on and so forth, boys and in school, right? It's like, hey, they're just friends or whatever, But Islam puts even limits and on relationship between the same gender, right? Like how you're brothers and you're sisters in faith, but how close can you get to each other? To what point can you be together, and how much can you reveal of your body, for example, in front of another man, and so on and so forth? The concept of awra, right? So this is something that is very interesting. That Islam as a way of life puts these limits to guide us, so we don't fall in some of these, as we call it, issues or perversions or kind of things. Well, this was definitely an excellent and enlightening conversation, and I thank you both for sharing your point of view and opinion, and inshallah we'll be back after this break with a wrap-up of these 2 episodes. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and welcome back on Iqraa. This is Jibril, your host, and we're wrapping up the issue of homosexuality. We had 2 episodes discussing this topic, and it was a very deep and insightful discussion and debate. Now, I want to leave you with a simple advice, and this is specifically for the Muslim youth, for the brothers and sisters out there who might know people who are homosexuals, maybe their parents, their friends, their brothers, sisters, whoever it is. One of the things that Islam teaches, and we touched a little bit upon in the discussion, is the issue and the concept of interactions between not only men and women. Okay, because sometimes, brothers might say, like, I got to be careful of the fitna of the woman, be careful of the fitna of the woman. And you're not careful of your brother, your own brother next to you, the fitna of the men. People, going to, Turkish baths or, taking baths, saunas in the West and so on and so forth, exposing their auras to each other, overly hugging, overly kissing, all these things, sometimes joking too much to these extents, that, oh, we're just men, we're just men, joking with each other, we're just girls, just joking with each other. But Islam puts limits even on these interactions. Same for the sisters, sisters, oh, well, we're just sisters, we're having to serve sister parties, we can relax, all our hijab, we can dress and wear whatever, we can dance with each other, and, these kind of things. And these things happen amongst us. We know that these things happen. But Islam teaches that no, you have to be careful even in these interactions. Be careful even in these events. You think that, hey, we're just brothers and sisters, we're just brothers, sisters. This is very important. The concept of hijab, for example, for the sisters. Women cannot show everything in front of another woman. Men cannot show the concept of the aura. Men cannot show everything in front of another man. These are meant to protect us. Very important. We've talked about the nature versus nurture. Sometimes we need to be careful with what we experience, what we want to experience. To what extent do we want to go? We say, oh, it's just normal, it's just nothing, right? But we have to be careful, right? Because something might cause a pleasure in someone and then change the whole fitra slowly, the whole natural disposition can change. Now, a practical solution cannot be necessarily given to this, except, of course, being mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being able to, and being mindful of the limits that Islam offers. Of course, this has been since the time of Prophet Lut. In the Quran is mentioned the issue of that, do you take, men to satisfy your desires other than, what Allah has given for you, women? And even Allah says in the Quran about doing this issue that no one has done it before. Right? So this debate, this issue that we're discussing is going back. And we see that it's been following us throughout the centuries. So can we just solve it right now, right here? No. But Islam gives us measures and practical tips for avoiding, preemptive measures. Kind of like, taking, precautions before it hits you really hard. So take care of these things. Talk to each other. Build awareness, even parents in the children. Show them and teach them why this is wrong. From the Quran, from the Sunnah. This is Jibril K on Iqraa with youth issues. Inshallah, we'll see you next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.